Welcome to the Lodge, everybody.
The Sound Lodge.
Welcome to the Sound Lodge. This is episode 1 of many.
Many. Of 400. We're only going to do 400 episodes. So
Yeah.
count down the days.
Yeah. It's like the podcast blows up on episode 388,
Yeah.
and then we're like, well, we got 12 more.
We only got a couple more, guys. Don't get used to this.
Yeah. Yeah, I think the goal of this podcast is just answer your questions to the best of our ability, and then also interview artists. There's a lot of dreams.
Just whatever. Yeah, we have a lot of plans for this podcast. But I think for now, the main goal that we want to be pursuing with this podcast is helping you guys out with whatever musical questions you might have. And maybe they're non-musical questions too. Maybe we just start helping people with finances and
Ladies?
We start helping people with ladies.
Got a lot of experience with that.
Family trauma. We're gonna solve your family trauma here on the Sound Lodge podcast.
We are certified therapists.
Yeah. I just took an online therapy course, so I know how to treat your problems.
I've always been really good at, understanding emotions. So.
People always come to me with their problems and stuff. I'm basically a therapist.
You should tell your dad to leave the house.
Yeah. You should honestly beat up your dad.
Okay, already this podcast is just like,
Off the fucking hinges.
Well, get used to it, guys. This is the Lodge.
Hey, this is it right here.
This is it.
Anyways, today is going to be an episode where we answer some of your guys' questions. Some of y'all's people's.
Some of y'all's questions.
Some of y'all's people's questions.
Usually y'all will be asking the questions on our new Discord. Sound Lodge Discord. Should we call it the Lodge Discord or just Sound Lodge?
Whatever. I feel like Sound Lodge Discord maybe.
Yeah.
So that's it.
The Discord will be a great place for you to, be an artist. But
meet some cool people. Meet some cool artist people.
Yeah.
Chill, hang out, vibe.
For this first episode, though, we just hopped on our Instagrams and we asked y'all if y'all had any specific questions for Felix and I, and we got a few questions.
Got
Got a lot of unhinged questions, but from the non-unhinged ones, I think we just hop right into this. So the first question was, what got you guys into music? It's a great question. I want to see what you got.
Well, what got me into making music, I always was around music when I was very little. Like, I think I've just always been surrounded by tons of different varieties and genres of music and everything. And I had a guitar in my hand since I was like probably 3 or something. Like, there's little pictures of me like in a diaper, like playing drums and like doing a little hand drum and everything. So I've always had an interest in it. But I think probably around like freshman year of high school is when I started getting like into the idea of being like, oh, I can like make music. I don't just have to like mess around with the guitar anymore. And then I discovered like a free DAW called LMMS, and I used that because I've always been about like what's the free tool that I can find, and like even still to this day I use DaVinci Resolve, which is a free editor. Because I just feel like if you can find a free version of something that does the job, might as well just go with that. So I just found that free DAW. And then eventually I realized, okay, I'm very limited by like the options in it. So I moved on to FL Studio, and then just slowly I just kind of got more and more into like recording my own instruments and doing all sorts of other stuff like that. That's the short of it.
Yeah, no,
there's more lore involved, of course, but that's really how I got started.
Yeah, that's a good answer. Yeah, mine was there was some alien being entered our house when I was very young, and he said, if you don't make music by the time you're 18, your whole family will be
dead.
No.
Aliens.
Yeah, exactly.
That's
my story is exactly like yours. It was kind of, I didn't really play an instrument until I like messed around on the piano.
Well, did you do piano lessons?
I had piano lessons once.
Really?
One piano lesson.
Like literally one lesson, one class?
Actually, I think I had 2. I had one piano lesson when we lived in New York City. Really? I remember I went to this random person's house, this like old lady, and she had a piano. And I had like one lesson with her, but we never went back.
How young were you when you lived in New York?
It was 7. Oh, okay. I think 7 to like 11.
That's pretty sick.
Yeah.
Probably some cool memories there.
Yeah, no, for sure, dude. I loved New York City. But yeah, so I had that lesson, and then when I lived in Texas, I had one more lesson, and it was kind of the exact same thing.
You know, it's funny. I would say that piano is probably my worst instrument. Well, I mean, aside from like things that I've just never played. But I actually took a semester of piano in
A full
high school.
semester?
No, yeah, I took a full semester of piano in senior year, and I was just with the group of kids who like kind of knew what they were doing. So he just like let us do basically whatever we wanted, and then he like actually taught the other kids. So I remember like one of the only things I retained was them being like, "Oh, you need to imagine like you're holding a tennis ball when you're playing the piano, and that's how your hands should be positioned." Because a lot of people would like
Interesting.
literally play it like this,
Yeah.
and it's like, dude, just use a little common sense. Maybe like a
Yeah.
little schmeckle of common sense, please. But that was just a lot of the class, and then we learned how to play like Mary Had a Little Lamb and like hot cross buns and shit like that. So
Yeah, no, you definitely seem like you have played the piano before. Because you can definitely tell like immediately when you watch someone play is like
Yeah.
are they familiar with the instrument, and if they're doing like this
Yeah.
stuff. And then yeah, there's just a lot of I'm blessed that I've been playing it like for as long as I can remember. Never got lessons, but I just messed around with it for as long as I remember. That like I never got lessons other than those 2 lessons, which maybe they like taught me the tennis ball thing, but
Yeah.
I don't remember what they said.
that's basically
But
what
I
I
feel
remember
like-
learning from piano.
Yeah.
Too. Like just basic technique stuff.
Yeah, I feel like they got me like on the right like foundation, which is good, I guess, even though they were like probably 30-minute little lessons. But
Which is funny because I would say honestly, I'm by those metrics, I would say that I'm more technically proficient with piano than I am with guitar or any other instrument, because I know like someone's actually sat down and taught me the like basic foundations of how you should approach the instrument and your posturing and
Yeah.
everything like that. Whereas with guitar, I never had any of that.
I feel
Same
like
with drums, too.
guitar is more of a instrument that you kind of make it your own.
True.
Like every famous guitarist has their own style of playing.
Yeah, and it's
like
technically wrong. But
exactly, and a lot of them don't. Like a lot of them never got lessons themselves. They just had a
Yeah.
guitar when they were young and they learned how to play it their own way. But piano is a different kind of beast. It's more like classical, and it
Yeah.
more like has rigid
Yeah,
sets of
definitely.
how to play it.
It's a lot closer to like an orchestral instrument in the sense that like you can't just like take a violin and just hold the bow however you want. You have to be like, you know, proper technique and everything like that. So I think also with me partially too, I am kind of just super autistic about like the form of things. Like I even am like this with like exercising as well. I really like to have proper form, and I really like to pay like good attention to that. So like if I like am doing something and I look weird doing it, I will be cognizant of that. So I try to like make sure that I look like I know what I'm doing with it. So like even with drums and stuff, like I don't look like a self-taught drummer. Well, I try not to. Because there's a lot of self-taught drummers that do just look super goofy when they play. But like being able to like know, okay, this guy knows what he's doing, and if I do what he's doing in a similar way, I'm gonna not look super weird doing it, you know.
Yeah.
A little bit of a tangent there, but
Yeah, I feel like, what was this question?
well,
What
how
about-
did we
yeah,
get started
yeah.
making music? Yeah.
Yeah, piano thing. I just have always been messing around with piano, and then I remember learning that you could record music and you could record audio, and I would always just like film it with my phone and then watch myself like play a cover. But I learned that like I could play one thing here and then add another element on here and be able to like play it back and kind of produce around it. My first kind of glimpse of that was that keyboard that I have in my studio. We had that in New York, and that was in my bedroom, and it has a feature to where there's like 5 tracks.
You can like dub over.
Yeah, and you can double and add like multiple layers to that. So that was always fun. But then I learned that you could add drums to different stuff if you had GarageBand. So like my family computer, we had GarageBand on there, and I just made the worst beats ever.
Yeah, just absolutely the most atrocious thing
no,
ever
they were-
created.
I don't even remember what they sounded like, but they were awful. And then
Yeah.
freshman year, high school, I downloaded Ableton Live Lite. I downloaded it because I got a Novation MIDI keyboard, because I was like, I need to get drum pads so I can record drums and stuff, which I think I used that like twice because I learned that I could just keyboard it in with my mouse, but that came with a form of Ableton Lite. So I'm so thankful, because I objectively think that Ableton is the best DAW, and I was very lucky to like get started with that. I was familiar with GarageBand, but Ableton getting that form and just right away from like the jump learning Ableton instead of having to do Logic or FL and then move to Ableton.
Yeah. This just turns into a which DAW is better debate.
Debate. That could be the title of this video though, which DAW is better.
Yeah. Ableton versus FL Studio.
That would be a good question for someone to ask for the next episode.
I can't even really say that like I'm that big of an FL Studio stan because I don't think it's even very good for recording at all. Like Ableton is infinitely better for recording. And I also don't even use the most updated version of FL Studio.
Really?
I'm like 2 updates delayed. Like 2 major updates delayed. I don't even have any of the new features or anything because honestly, it doesn't really matter like what I'm using. It doesn't matter like the name of the DAW or whatever. It's like just as long as it works for me and as long as I'm familiar with it, that's what matters. Because I think that's a huge deal for anybody. Everybody's like, well, which DAW should I use? Whatever. It's like, dude, it doesn't matter. Just pick one and just get used to it. That's really
at this point, they all do the exact same thing.
Exactly.
Like I remember when Ableton had comping and multi-track recording and all this stuff, and it was like you should get Ableton because of this.
Yeah.
But like FL's had some really good updates to where they like implemented a bunch of Ableton stuff, and then Ableton's new update, which I haven't bought yet, has like a bunch of updates from FL. So like at this point, they all have everything. Just find what you think is best.
That's one thing that FL really harps on is like lifetime free updates. You don't have to buy our updates.
Yeah, Ableton.
Our updates are free.
It's kind of annoying. Answer complete.
Yeah, that was the worst possible answer ever. But I think, honestly, summed up in a nice, neat little package, it seems like for both of us, we had a very similar procedure that we went about where it was like just kind of being always surrounded by music and then eventually, but not really thinking of it as like a thing where it's like, I can do this. It's like just something that's always around, you know, just like music playing in the background, parents or grandparents or whatever playing music and stuff like that. And then eventually you realize like, oh, like the recording aspect, which I think is definitely something different from us and like people 20 years ago, because that really sparked my love for making music as well, is the digital aspect of it. And that without that digital aspect, I don't think I would have had the same passion for it, you know? So then we discovered the recording side, and then it was kind of from there just like snowballed into what it is now.
Yeah, I remember when I learned about SoundCloud, how ecstatic I was that I could upload like original stuff on SoundCloud and send it to people, even though I didn't send my music or my YouTube channel to people for like 5 years until I actually had some traction. But I learned that like you could upload stuff for free on this platform and listen to your own stuff back and have other people find it randomly. And I was like, this is the coolest thing ever.
Yeah. Well, because the funny thing about that is that I remember when Spotify and all that stuff was like inaccessible. Like no, not just normal people had music on Spotify. It was like as if you had to be on a label or have a record deal or whatever, and like you couldn't just like go to DistroKid and just upload your song within a day. So SoundCloud was like the way to do that. You know, it was like the underground, like people who just make music in their bedroom place to put your music. You know, which for a while it felt like that. You know, it felt like SoundCloud was like just your little thing. You know?
Dude, I don't really use it anymore, which is kind of... I don't even, like, upload my own music. I used to always upload my own music to SoundCloud as well, but, like, some of my original music, it has, like, 100 plays over there, and then it has, like, 10,000 on Spotify.
Yeah, it's like, what is that going to do for you, realistically?
It's kind of sad. Because I love...
It died super hard.
Dude, I remember, like, finding all of my favorite artists on SoundCloud.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like, that's especially for you and I, because we're such big indie fans.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that was the best place to find indie music. And, like, that was the culture. All of the really famous indie musicians now they all like started on SoundCloud.
Well, it was honestly, that was just like the birth of, I feel like, music that we know now.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you think about like even
especially
like,
with like rap
guys,
and stuff.
Yeah, think of like Post Malone, who like I think White Iverson, he uploaded onto SoundCloud originally, and it's all of the like rappers and everything, because that's what I really listened to in high school. Like growing up, I discovered so many rappers on SoundCloud and like reached out to rappers to like make beats for them, make songs for them and stuff on SoundCloud, because it really was like a social media app for musicians, basically. You know, that's what set it apart. Because like if it was just okay, you go and you click on a song the way Spotify is, wouldn't be any social aspect. But that's what made it so cool, is that you could like message people and comment and things like that. Like that.
Yeah, you could get comments where it's like, you love hype music?
Yeah.
You should check out.
Submit to our playlist.
Yeah. Dude, I love how we were like, is 4 questions going to be enough?
Yeah.
And that one question was like 20 minutes. So yeah, we're vibing. So yeah, I hope that answered your question. We've always loved music, and we love making music as well. We love making music as well. Question number 2 is from... Didn't write down names. What's the hardest part of the songwriting process? That's a great question.
I feel like you should answer that one first. You're more of the songwriting guy than me.
That is a good question. Writing the second verse.
Yeah, that's actually very true.
That is
very hard.
By far the hardest part. Yeah, I mean, because I think the easiest part, the quickest part is after you found chords, just finding a melody and like, someone else like asked a question about melodies and vocal melodies and stuff. And whenever I kind of find melodies, I kind of envision the chords or the instrumental as a wave, and you're just like a surfer, and like the waves come up and down with the emotions, and you just have to be able to feel that and then make a melody that kind of follows the waves of the beat. So that kind of comes naturally just because I've been doing that so long. So that comes quickly, just like finding the melody and then fitting words to it, realizing what the song's about. You're getting super inspired. Then you get to the chorus and you're like, oh, this chorus is sweet. And then you're like, okay, let's go back to the verse, finish up the verse. Mm-hmm. And that usually takes like 20 minutes.
And yeah, doing that really like slows the momentum ball down. Yeah. And then you're like, oh man, this chorus is so good, but now we need a second verse. Yeah. What the hell, man? And then it's just like complete stagnant stop.
Yeah. And the answer to that, the solution to that is don't ever leave the songwriting process until you write the second verse as well. Yeah. Until you wrote the whole song.
Sit down and finish it. Yeah. That's the main thing.
But it's hard. Like, I don't even follow that sometimes.
Yeah.
Because it's been an hour. Mm-hmm. You finished the chorus. You finished the first verse. You're like, this is a really good song idea. Let's just save it and we'll get back to the second verse. But if you get back to the song a while later, a lot of that inspiration and that spark's kind of gone. So you need to learn how to push through that. But
you definitely have to capture it in the moment. And I think actually that's like one of the things, like another part to answering this question is one of the hardest parts about the songwriting process is getting past the idea that it should be all like smooth and like coming out of like just flowing out of your brain super easily, because it sometimes is not going to be like that. Sometimes it's going to be hard to write the song, you know, like sometimes you are going to be stumped, you're going to have writer's block or whatever, but being able to like power through that and like realize that, you know, you might just be going through like a trough or whatever, like there's peaks and there's troughs while you're, you know, being a creative person, and you just got to like power through this bottom stage so that you can get back up to the, you know, recording stage, where once you get to the recording stage and you try to record the same thing 100 times, then you'll go right back down.
No, I mean, that's it. It's just, you gotta, when you're at the depths of just like no inspiration, you gotta push through, because like maybe in 5 minutes you'll find a line, you'll be like, oh, that's a really, really good line. But also understand, like, you're the most critical person, like you're the most self-critical person about your own music. Write a line, have it advance the storyline, and if it's not the best line, just come back to it later. Keep advancing the storyline, and then you'll find, like, maybe a few days pass, you listen to the song again, and you don't even pick up that you didn't like that line, because it just, when you hear it for the first time in a few days, you'll be like, that I think that sounds fine, but you're so like just critical about every little syllable, every little line while you're writing it, that it can really stop you from just advancing the storyline, writing the story, and making the song.
That's a good point, is sometimes you just got to write down a line, even if it's not the best line, you just got to write it down just to keep the momentum going. Yeah. Because if you stop completely for like 10 minutes, all of your creativity just is completely drained. But if you just like, all right, this is fine, I'll come back to it later, like that is honestly better than just like stopping yourself until like, I have to get the perfect line or else I can't continue the song.
Yeah, I mean, what's the point of a perfect line if it takes you 40 minutes and then you're like, okay, wait, where are we? I
then
figured
you
out
don't like the song anymore.
Totally. Yeah, that's the goal. Get down as much stuff as you can while you still like the song.
Yeah, that's pretty good summed up. Just do as much as you can before you start to hate the song.
Before every time you press play, you're like, get it over with.
Yeah. Oh yeah, honestly, I think for me, coming from a different perspective, I would say one of the hardest parts of the songwriting process is formulating the small ideas that I have into one overarching idea. Because a lot of times I'll come up with like little lines and stuff of like, okay, this sounds cool, this is a cool idea, whatever, but like how do I make it into like one thing that the song is actually about, you know? And that's definitely a tricky thing. But I think honestly it just helps the same way to just, you have to keep the ball going. And if you stop and to like really think too hard about like, I have to make this song about a specific thing, that's when you lose momentum. Yeah. And so I think it really just all boils down to like just keeping going and just continue to create. Like don't stop creating the thing you're creating, you know?
Yeah, hopefully that answered your question. I think that there's a lot of tough parts about writing a song, but
yeah. I think everybody's got their own thing that they struggle with when songs.
Some people are just like natural poets.
Very true.
I feel like I might have a little bit of that, but it feels like I'm just running uphill and I'm fighting an uphill battle a lot of times when I write songs.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I think everybody struggles with it for sure. It doesn't matter how good you are at songwriting, like you're going to struggle with some aspect of it at some point, you know?
Yeah. Hopefully that answered your question. Insert the guy's name. If you guys are real
Steven?
park rangers, then where are your uniforms?
I'm not a real park ranger. I'm a fraud.
Yeah, y'all heard it here first, guys. We are frauds. We're not real park rangers.
Everybody contact the park rangers authority and tell them to send us our uniforms.
Yeah, no, we actually are real park rangers, but the uniforms, they're shipping it from the Netherlands. That's where they make their United States Park Rangers uniform. So it's taken a while, but
we're actually park rangers in the Netherlands. We're not American park rangers.
Yeah. No, I mean that'd be cool if any of y'all work at parkrangerfacility.com, then hit us up.
I think that's just called a park. If any of you work at a park.
Not parkrangerfacility.com?
Yeah. I think they call those parks.
Yeah, no, if you work at any park in the U.S., we'd love to be real park rangers. That is the goal.
Yeah.
So
we will quit YouTube and become actual park rangers.
I would not mind that.
Be dope.
That would be so cool. Our fans probably don't want to.
Yeah, they're like, guys, please don't do that. Please, no. Actually, it would be so sick to live in one of those fire watchtowers. Like you can see the entire like forest and everything. That'd be awesome.
Yeah, dude.
Let's just do that, actually. All right. Peace out, guys. We're going to go do that.
We're going to go learn how to get certified.
Yeah. I'm going to get Firewatch certified and become a park ranger.
Speaking of park rangers, we never really talked about this. First live performance recently. That was pretty cool.
That was pretty cool. We didn't perform a park ranger song, but...
Yeah, true.
It was pretty epic.
But yeah, it was very, very cool. The first of many. So
I'm ready to do it again.
Yeah, we got it. Look. Oh no.
Hey, buddy. Oh. Too late. So close. He hurled.
Yeah. He tried his hardest to get out.
Yeah. He's just like, please let me out of here, man.
He's like, don't punish me if y'all don't let me out. Yeah, but we would love to be real park rangers, so if you work at a park, definitely give us our uniforms. Okay, question numero cuatro. What's y'all's fave genre that no one really knows you make? You got an answer to that?
I've always kind of prided myself on being able to make just kind of every different genre. Like, because even from when I first started making tutorials and stuff, I would just make tons of tutorials on just random stuff. Mm-hmm. I've definitely gotten more into like the indie thing now, like indie rock and indie pop kind of stuff. But I really enjoy making this just all in the DAW, all programmed stuff, you know, just like D&B and like house kind of stuff. Like I really love making like 90s house with like the old like drum samples and everything. I love doing that kind of stuff. But
when's the last time you've done that?
Honestly, probably months ago at this point. I feel like I don't really make as much music as I should these days, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Like I don't really make music like for fun anymore. It's all just like for a video or for like a song or whatever.
Yeah.
Like obviously it's still fun, but like I don't make music solely for the purpose of just like making the music, unless we're doing it for like park rangers or for like a song we're working on.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we've been talking about that a lot. Just like we really want to just make music.
Yeah.
And that be the job. But
Yeah.
it's so hard to make money off that.
Yeah, exactly.
And like I'm at a point where I just need money. Like
Yeah.
that's as sad and as uncreative and unartistic that is.
Yeah.
It's like you have to survive. You have to pay rent. There's bills.
Yeah, it's like the reality of just living life as well.
Yeah,
you know?
totally. And I'm every artist goes through this. You know.
100%, yeah.
And I think if you're out there and you want to pursue the music stuff, you gotta be comfortable being broke.
Yeah.
That's just the harsh reality of
For
it.
sure. I think you got to weigh your options of like, am I fine with having a struggle but being able to do something that I enjoy?
Yeah.
Or do you want just like a 9-to-5 job where you hate your life and want to kill yourself?
Yeah, exactly. Well, I mean, we're blessed that the work that we have to do is us like figuring out ways that we can have a better, steadier income, but we're still doing stuff we love ultimately.
Yeah.
It's not like we have sound packs here, we get AdSense here, and then we're also learning how to do crypto.
Yeah.
It's like everything we're doing is relating to music, which is that's a blessing for
There's
sure.
also always room to grow as well. That's the thing that's really nice with what we do is that there's no cap. Like some people just stay at like dead end jobs for like their whole lives, and for us, like there's no ceiling to how far we can take this stuff. It's only dependent on us and like how creative we can be.
Yeah, I used to have that feeling a lot. I feel like I haven't felt that in a while.
What, that you're like have no ceiling?
Yeah, and like the feeling of I'm gonna blow up tomorrow.
Yeah, I actually remember like when we were first making some of the videos that we were making together, thinking like, dude, one of these videos is gonna pop off. And like I feel like YouTube, the way that the YouTube like algorithm or whatever you want to call it lately has been just not blessing me at all.
Yeah.
I just have like lost hope and being like, this video is probably not gonna
No,
pop.
dude, I'm right there with you.
It's
I feel
getting
like
1,000 views and calling it a day.
yeah, I mean, yeah.
I
It's
feel like
kinda sad.
that was part of the excitement of YouTube before,
dude, totally. And
being like
it's
any one of these videos could go crazy.
Yeah.
Now it's like, it's probably not gonna happen.
yeah, I mean, we want to sit here and say we just love making art.
Yeah.
But a lot of it was like
I like people seeing the art too,
Yeah. But like that insane dopamine hit when you see the videos start taking off. Because I had one video that kind of blew up, and that was the bedroom pop video. And ever since then, for like a year after that, I was like, another video is gonna do that.
Yeah.
And that was the best feeling ever. I just need to keep chasing that. But so like that's definitely an aspect of doing stuff online.
For sure.
But I feel like
I think if that was purely our goal, though, we could definitely do that. Like if we wanted to make like a bunch of like free plugin videos and like shit that's like fairly
also
clickbaity.
if that was the goal, we just wouldn't be making music content.
Exactly.
Because that music content is just not the biggest niche on YouTube.
Exactly.
We'd be doing like, all right, guys, these are the top 10 best ways to. All right,
paid an
guys.
assassin to hunt me down and kill me. I blew up an orphanage.
Yeah. Have you ever seen the Instagram account Influencers in the Wild?
No, I don't think
Dude, it is gold, man. It's just like people filming people making like shorts
like
and just
TikToks and stuff?
Yeah, and
Yeah.
it's just like from a distance where you can't hear the audio or you can't hear the background music. They just look like freaks.
Yeah, I
Like,
have seen that
just
actually.
Absolutely. Like we could do that if we really were that obsessed with the views.
Yeah.
And I was gonna say like that was definitely a feeling I had about 4 years ago. Just being like, oh, this next video is gonna blow up. But it's mainly due to the fact that like that hasn't happened in 4 years. But it's also like I don't really have that feeling anymore.
Yeah.
It's like the reason I'm making these videos now is 90% just because I love the videos that I make. And
That's
they
the
don't
thing,
perform well at all right now. But
right. Well, the thing is, if you were making a video where you were chasing that as the goal, like I want to get views, you absolutely could, I think it's like almost the subconscious part of my brain is saying, oh yeah, I want to get a bunch of views, but I'm not making the video with that intention, you know? It's just kind of an afterthought where it's like, it would be nice if it got a bunch of views. But if I was sitting there from the jump trying to accrue as many views as possible for this particular video, I definitely could get more views, you know, if I like really went super crazy with the thumbnail and like, what is the best color for the background of the thumbnail? And what's the best character length for the title and all this kind of stuff.
Yeah, and just editing it to where, okay, there's about 0.7 seconds of dead space here. I need to cut that out.
Yeah.
I wasn't loud enough in this section. I need to retake that and scream into the mic.
Do not click off this video.
Yeah, also, I haven't made a video where at the end I'm like, subscribe, or I'm like, be sure to like the video.
Yeah.
Like, that's also a huge thing.
I don't think either of us have ever done like any of the typical like things that you need to do as a YouTuber to like get the most amount of views and likes and everything. Because truly, a large part of me doesn't really care about that too, you know? And I think a large part of me has gotten successful from doing not that, you know? I think from doing just as authentically making videos as possible, just as true to like what I actually want to do, because I never liked doing that. I never liked being like, make sure you subscribe and make sure you like the video and all that kind of stuff. Like I did that when I was really young making videos because I thought that was like what everybody did and that's what you needed to do. So, but yeah, I just, when I actually formed like a fully functioning brain, I just was like, yeah, I don't really want to do that anymore. So I just stopped doing it. And I think that's really the best. I don't know if the best way to, you know, find success on the internet, but it's definitely the most long-lasting and sustainable way to find success is just by being yourself, you know?
Yeah, 100%. I think it's cool also that like my videos aren't doing well, but every time I post a song, it's like my views is like 1K, 900, 1K, and then the song has like 3.2 thousand, which is like a cool feeling of my biggest hits are just original music now. Like there's enough
that's really cool. That's a huge thing to be able to say.
Yeah.
Because that means people will enjoy the art, you know? Like
totally.
the art that they know you make is the music, you know?
Yeah, shouts out to y'all for actually listening to stuff we make. It's pretty cool.
I mean, we wouldn't even be here without all you guys, so.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
It's unbelievable.
Quite awesome.
What was that question?
Yeah. It was what's y'all's genre that no one really knows? You were saying 90s house?
Yeah, 90s house. And I like making D&B kind of stuff, too.
Yeah.
Deals in business.
I would say I love house music.
Taking balls. Cut that.
Yeah, I would say mine would be house music, I think. I haven't made it in a while, but I think that's also like the furthest from the genres that I'm making right now.
Yeah, definitely.
It's
but
like,
you definitely have some housey stuff out there. Actually, some of my older stuff had some housey, like Four on the Floor influence as well.
Really?
Yeah. So we're definitely not closeted house music makers.
Yeah, no, that is true. There are some. There's
some signs.
Yeah, there's. It's a spectrum of my love for house music.
Yeah.
But yeah, thank you for video.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you for listening to episode 1 of The Lodge. Hopefully you had your answer questioned.
Your answer question.
Yeah. Thank you for watching episode 1 of The Lodge podcast. We are really excited about making more of these episodes and answering your fun questions.
Your fun little silly little questions, which you can leave in the Discord. There'll be a link in the description below. You can click on our Discord server and join it and submit it in the questions section of the Discord and ask us some questions.
And
we bid you farewell.
See you in episode 2.
We bid you farewell and safe travels on your journey.
Give us some good questions. Also, I think at the end of every Lodge episode, we should ask them a question, and whoever answers it the best gets a shout out in the next episode.
Yeah, I like that. What is your favorite obscure color? So not just like red, blue.
Should we
green.
do? I feel like we should do music questions.
I got one. I can ask one. Our question for you at the end of this episode, or my question for you specifically, is let us know one time in your music making career where you thought you were going to quit. You thought you were going to give it up and you're like, I'm not meant for this. I'm not a music guy. I'm going to go work at a 7-Eleven. And then you pushed through and kept doing it. I'd love to hear about those stories like that because I think other people can really benefit from hearing those stories too. Because I think everybody has a moment like that where they're like, dude, I suck at this and I'm going to quit and I'm going to
I've had a few. I'm sure you've had a few. We're going to chat about that next episode. looking forward to picking our favorite answer. And
Yeah, that's about it. Thank you guys for watching.
peace.